Hey everyone, and welcome back to Caesar's Freedomstead. So on this video here, I wanted to go ahead and help you guys prepare for and survive a meat shortage. And so there's been a lot of that already going on, especially last year during the whole shutdown here in America and all around the world, really. And there was meat shortages in all kinds of different places. So there was meat shortages here where we're at in South Carolina. But I am going to tell you up front here that I am making this video because from experience, when the meat shortages happened and the food shortages, it did not affect us at all. Me and my wife Marina, we just kind of looked at what was going on in the world. And, we still got to go to our jobs, not all the time, obviously, because it was on and off and on and off. We had jobs in the city full time, but we didn't have to worry about food. We saw the shortages, we saw that people were panicking and things like that. And a lot of people actually started homesteading and started doing gardens again. Gardening went like crazy during 2020. And a lot of people are getting back into that now. And so I want to go ahead and lead you guys on this path, on this journey to providing meat for yourselves. We've been doing it for years over here on the Freedomstead. And I just want to impart this knowledge to y'all. And if you've gotten something from this video, please go ahead and subscribe and like. And I would love to bring y'all on for all future videos that we have. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so right behind me we have the area where we've just performed our latest processing of our meat, which was yesterday. And yes, this video is about teaching you that you can process your own meat at home. So think about it. If you're processing your own meat at home, how are you going to be affected by a meat shortage in the store? What I'm going to show you here is a clip of our processing yesterday, and I want to show you how easy it is. We didn't use any, advanced techniques or expensive machinery or anything like that. You could definitely do that if you have the money to spend on expensive machinery and things that kind of make the job much easier and quicker. Awesome if you can. More power to you. And if you do have the money, I do recommend you do that. So I'm going to show you in this video what everybody in America and everybody in the world can do to process your own meat chickens. And so this is all pretty much, the standard way of doing things. It's anybody with a knife and a pot can do it, The only piece of heavy machinery that we have is a plucker, and I seriously recommend buying a plucker. If there's any investment that you can ever get a really good return on, on your investment, it would be a chicken plucker if you're going to process your own birds. So definitely grab one of those. They're not too expensive. They are about $300 or $400 I'd say a pretty decent one, a good one. Definitely just spend that money for that. You will get your money back very, very quickly, and it'll make the job go super, super fast. So go ahead and take a look at this clip. I'm going to do a little bit of voiceover and explain what we're doing. And this will prevent you from being affected by any kind of meat shortage anywhere that you're at in the entire world. So here's our chicken setup and processing area. So as you can see, both of us are getting things done. We both have different jobs. And I'm over to the right. I have the live chicken, and I actually do the slaughtering. And I bring the chicken over to the scalder pot that's over to the left there, all the way in our little fire pit area. Now anyone can do this. Right there is a chicken cone that I'm putting the chicken into. You could get those online. They're very inexpensive. And their head just fits out the bottom there. And you do the slaughtering with the knife. You just cut their throat. Now I don't like to show that. I don't like to show the actual killing. So I'm just going to skip to a point right here where the chicken is already dead. And Marina's back there getting her job done, which is cleaning out the chickens and getting them ready for the freezer. And here I am putting the chicken inside of the scalding pot. All right, I'm bringing it out of the scalding pot. Keep it in there for, just long enough for for the feathers to start coming off when you pull on the feathers. And one of the other things that Marina does is while I'm getting other live chickens for slaughter, she is running the plucker, and it is defeathering everything. And so all the feathers will be off, ready for her to process the chicken on the table there to get ready for the freezer. And so it's just the same thing over and over again. Here I am again putting another live chicken in and going ahead and getting it ready for the slaughter. And Marina's got her thing going, like I said. Now she's pulling out a chicken. There's one that's been defeathered from the plucker. And as you can see, awesome machine to have. There is not a feather left on that chicken over there on the table. So this is how we do it. It's the same thing over and over again for each chicken. I have my job, she has hers, and it goes very smoothly. And you definitely want to have a plan when you are processing more than 5 chickens. If you're doing it by yourself, 5 chickens is fine. It'll just take you about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours. But when you are doing it with partner or somebody else helping out, it is very, 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 very efficient. Here I am again, putting in the plucker, and I am out going ahead and grabbing more chickens. So encourage all of y'all, if you don't have a setup in mind, go ahead and do this setup right here. This is a great setup. We have our slaughtering station to the right with a bucket where they bleed out into. I put them in the scalder over to the left with just wood and fire, very easy. And then they go into the plucker there, and Marina does runs the plucker machine, and she cleans out the chickens and separates the guts and everything and puts the meat into the ice bucket. That's that blue bucket right behind the table there, as you can see. And so a little bit of information on the actual scalding. That water there is between 145 to 160. You don't want it too high, or it'll actually cook your chicken. And so just check the feathers. Now here is the finished product. All right, so I hope you learned a little bit from that video there. Like I said, I just want to give you a little bit of information on the step-by-step of how we personally do things out here very efficiently. And it's definitely at least a 2-person job to get things done quickly and efficiently. You could definitely do things on your own, but it is going to take you quite a while. Now, right here, I want to show you also, these right here are the bags that I like to use. Once you process your meat, your chicken meat, and you can also use these for rabbits, don't have to. We are actually getting into rabbit meat as well. So the trick is to diversify so that you have a lot of meat, you have a lot of food, and you won't be affected by any shortage. And you're not just eating the same meat every day, if something happens. But definitely for the interest of this video for chickens, I shrink wrap these bags right here. And these right here are the 13 by 18. Get the 13 by 18. You want to get the larger bags because you will get larger chickens. They're about 5 pounds. You will get larger chickens. They're about 5 pounds, 6 pounds, even 7 pounds. I've gotten a couple 7 pounds at times. And so these larger bags will not only shrink wrap to the size of the smaller chickens, but it will also be a perfect fit for your larger chickens. So these right here are perfect to order this size right here. And they come with little zip ties and a little bit of straw. And just read the directions there. You put the zip tie around the bag, put the straw in there, and you stick it in water that's about 185 to 200 degrees. The air goes right out the straw and sucks all the air out of the bag and shrink wraps it, and then you just tighten up the zip tie. And so that's what that's what I showed you on the pictures there. Now, once you've done that, you're gonna say, well, where are we gonna store all that meat? So obviously it depends on how much you actually did. We've done 48 chickens at one time a while back. That's probably the most we've done at one time. We do it a couple times a year, so probably about 100 a year or more. But this just recent one, we did about 21. And right back here is a Whirlpool Freezer. Now this is not paint or anything like that, obviously. But this right here is where we store everything. So let me go ahead and show you in there. Okay, so let's open it up. All right, so we have all our chickens from yesterday. All all in here, all packed and shrink wrapped, all nice. And as you can see, and you saw from the pictures, is I like to put the weight on there. So this one is 6 pounds, 0.02 ounces. So this is a nice big chicken. This is a 6-pounder. So there's a whole bunch of ranges in here. Here's one that's almost 7 pounds. This one's 6 pounds, 13 ounces. 16 ounces is a pound. So it's almost at a 7-pound chicken. It's huge. So these are shrink wrapped and frozen. They're good in here for a very, very, very long time. And there's plenty of space in here. There's only about 20 birds in here. We processed 21, but one went to compost because it wasn't fit for eating. But we have 20 in here. But we have fit, we have fit over 50 in here of the large size birds. So there's plenty of space left in here. This is the largest Whirlpool freezer that they had. The size, I'm not going to get into the size too much because it really just depends on how much you're processing and how big your family is, how much you plan to have. So base your needs on that. Go to your local store that sells the freezers here and just pick out the one that works best. But it doesn't hurt to get the biggest one you can find because you could put everything in there and have it for months to come. As a reminder, it's never a fun thing to take the life of an animal, but this is just the way things are. If you eat meat, whether you buy it in the store and somebody does it for you or you do it for yourself here. And another good note about it, to remember when you're going on this journey with your family or getting into butchering for your own meat, is where it's coming from. You know what hands have touched it. You know what they ate. You know everything about that meat before it gets to your plate. And when you are eating it, you know that it was taken care of the right way. You know that the animals had a great life. They weren't inside of some chicken house where it was dark and they're stepping all over nasty stuff, and they never have a good life. They actually have a horrible life in those places. But when you raise your own meat, everything about those chickens, everything about those rabbits or whatever you're doing. So like I said, out here, we're going to be diversifying in different kinds of meat. And each year we're going to be adding on, and that's something that you could do as well. You can add on something new each year so that you can have multiple meat sources and food sources coming from different places. So I know it looks like it's a difficult process. It may look like, oh wow, I can never do that. Oh, I couldn't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So you can do it. Once you've done it a few times, and what I mean by that is, let's say you got 20 chickens like we had, and once you've done it the first few times, you got the first couple chickens out of the way, it is pretty simple after that. You get kind of used to it. You start understanding what's going on and understanding that there's a life being taken in order for you to be fed, and that is how it is. I always tell people, it's especially those who are against killing animals and they still eat meat. It didn't make any sense to me. I was like, well, you're buying meat from the store that somebody else killed. So are you okay with somebody else taking the life of the animal and then you eat the meat and you not know where the meat came from or how the life was? Or is it better if you did it yourself and you gave them a great life and they just had one bad day? So think about that a little bit. But I want you all to go ahead and start doing this at home if you can. Get a little bit of land. If you don't have a ton of chickens or a ton of animals for meat, you can do it on about an acre or less. Just make sure they have green grass every day. But this is the way that you can provide meat for yourself and your family and never have to be affected by any shutdowns. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, if you got some information from this, if this was helpful to you, go ahead and subscribe and like to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.